So what will you get? So let me just zoom out a little bit of that and make some space, and we'll bring in the D300 version of this image. Now, on both cameras I used ISO 1600 to shoot these because I wanted to have a bit of a look at, whoops, I'll get it right in a minute, sorry, the ISO performance and compare the two. Well, looking at them both at that size, the exposure is obviously a lot brighter in this D3X image than it is in my D300 image. The D300 has seen all this brightness in the sky and generally darkened the shot down a little bit. So the stones look a bit darker, but there's more detail in the sky. The D3X has come up with a brighter, more vibrant image, so it's lost a bit of that sky detail. But I would say that overall the D3X image does look nicer because it's a shot of the stones. It's not really a shot of the sky, although it's a blending of the two. These are JPEG files that have been processed out by the cameras, and I haven't fiddled with them in any way. This is exactly as they left the camera. There are ways to capture that detail if you're shooting raw and you do a little bit of post-production, but I just want to see what the camera delivers left to its own devices. I'd say we certainly have nicer colours with the D3X than the D300, which looks just slightly muddy, even though it does have plenty to offer. But what about our grain? Let's have a look at these at the actual pixel levels. Now this is the D300 image down here, and to be honest, I think that looks pretty good. 1600 ISO is very high. Let's have a look down here in this corner, because it's often in the shadow areas where you start to really notice the grain. The D3X image, lovely and bright. Where is the... oh, I can't even find where I'm supposed to be looking. There we go, that's the comparable place. I'd say there isn't really anything to choose between the two. The D3X is possibly slightly smoother. There's fractionally more noise in the D300 image, but it's a very subtle thing, and you may not be able to see this in the video. Noise is little tiny coloured pixels which don't really belong there. Grain is the graininess like you used to get with the old black and white film. So D300, I would say, obviously has an edge over the... sorry, the D3X has an edge over the D300 when it comes to ISO performance. And I would also say the colours and clarity and kind of overall brightness of the D300, the D3X image, it's so annoying they both got 3s in the title. The D300 image looks just slightly muddy compared to the D3X. So it swings and roundabouts. We've got less sky detail and better rock detail with the D3X, and better sky detail and less rock detail with the D300. Let's have a little look at the rocks going out into the sea. So here's the D300 version, and I'd say that looks pretty good. We've got pretty good rock detail, we've got lots of sky detail. Yeah, it looks quite nice. I say I'd have no qualms with that. The D3X image of the same shot is again brighter. Now I was very careful to make sure that I hadn't got exposure compensation on by accident or anything like that, because I did notice it was shooting a brighter image at the time of shooting, but it wasn't. They were both set the same. So again, the D3X has kind of got far more detail in the shadow areas than it has in the highlight, whereas it's the other way around with the D300. But the D3X image still has that better colour. It's slightly richer, it's slightly sharper and more vibrant, but it's only very, very fractional. Let's take a look at our house by the sea picture. So that's the D300 image, and I would say that looks fine. I'm very happy with that. I think the colours are pretty good. Obviously got plenty of sharpness and definition. Now let's go to actual pixels here, so we can really see. Yeah, I'd say that's nice and sharp and clean. I was using the same aperture on both cameras, but the D3X is using a very, very expensive lens compared to the one that I was using. So let's take a look at the D3X image. Sorry about the pause there, trying to goad my brain into action. Well, actually, straight away, I think I can see that the D3X image is so much cleaner than the D300 image in this case. So that's the D300. Let's just make it full screen for you. And this is the D3X. The D3X image has got that edge, that vibrancy. It's just a little bit more bitey, a little bit more sharp. If I go into the actual pixels of this image here and look at the same place, I can see straight away, and you possibly can too. If you look at this concrete wall here behind the rocks, let's go and get it on the D300 image. There is a very definite edge to the D3X image, as you would expect. I mean, look at the price difference, it's enormous. But another place that you're going to find a difference is in file size and image size. The D300 is a 12.5 megapixel camera, and this image size is, if I bring it up here, it's a 14-inch by 9-inch image, which is pretty big, and you could easily pump that up to sort of 30 or 40 inches and not lose any definition at all. The D3X file size, we've got a 20-inch by 13-inch image, which is much, much bigger. So if you're into really beautiful landscapes and you like to make them really, really big prints, then obviously the D3X is going to have an enormous edge over something like the D300. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to put these two cameras against one another is because they're both professional cameras. It's just that one is a lot more expensive than the other. But as you can see, both take very, very similar pictures. The D3X does record more detail, as you would expect if you're going to spend that kind of money. But it's not an enormous difference. So the question is monetary value. The difference is there and it's notable, but what value do you place on that difference? Spending the bucks won't make you a better photographer, but it will give you a better quality image file. You possibly wouldn't have to do quite so much post-production work. If you're a business, then of course that cost is completely tax deductible, and when my D300s are due for renewal, D3X is a way that I would like to go. Something to bear in mind, the D3X is a full frame sensor, which means I can't use my lenses on the D3X. So if you're going to upgrade to something like that, you have to replace the lot, all your lenses, everything. So there you go, there's the difference between a £1,000 professional camera and a £5,000 professional camera. If you include the lenses, you've got 1,507 grand. It's your call. What's that worth to you to have that little tiny bit of an edge? Subscribe to our YouTube channel to be notified each time we upload one of our cool photography videos, or for more great photo tips, workshops and training, come and see us at our website, photographycourses.biz.